What's up, guys? And welcome to another exciting episode of Empowered Conversations. I was just speaking with my guest, Kim Baum, and I'm going to be bringing her on in just a few seconds. I wanted to again give a huge shout out and a big enormous amount of appreciation to everybody who's been showing up for me daily and voting for me and voting for me and voting for me, regardless of how this turns out. You have no idea how much my heart is squoze, if that's a word, a term, it's a Stephanieism, for the amount of support and just the support and the belief in me and my dreams. I just really appreciate all of that. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you all about Kim Bond. She is so fabulous. I met her through my good friend Siobhan, who's my fellow co-host of Food Therapy. And Kim had created a group called the Happy Heart, which I'm sure several of you watching this are very familiar, as you're a part of that group. I didn't realize it, but it was like a 21-day challenge, and it was so super exciting. We went live one day in there, I remember, and that was for our food therapy show. But she is so fabulous. So Kim Bond is an entrepreneur from Southwest Canada. Kim's passion is found in exercise, cooking, and teaching classes. As a presenter and educator in health and fitness. As a presenter and educator in the health and fitness industry, her motto is stay connected with your body, with your mind, and with this planet. She is known as a trainer to trainers. You will find her educating everyone from all walks of life and empowering people to take control of their health through all dimensions of wellness. Through her passion, she has carved out a career while raising a child he's a disabled athlete, and we're going to talk about that. It sounds just so incredibly amazing, the stuff that she has shared with me about him. She has lived in a single parent home, and she's ran a company full time, and she volunteers for many community causes. A phrase that others would say about Kim: she is incredibly, passionately resilient. OMG, how I freaking love that. Everybody help me and welcome in, drum roll please, Kim Bond. What's up, girl?
Hello. Thank you so much. You're like,
oh my God, you're so
awesome.
fabulous. We've already
Thank
got
you.
Siobhan saying squeeze, girl. Like, it just squoze
Right?
my heart. And she's like, and then a Facebook user says, hello, beautiful. I'm not sure who that is, but thank you. So Kim Bond, oh my God, tell me. It's so, thank you so much for being here. It's so exciting to have you. And I love what you created with the Happy Heart. And, what I love to do is I just really like to dive into the depth of like your soul, your why, tell me about your life, like where you were before you started the journey of what it is you're bringing to the world now.
Yeah, it's been a lifelong journey. That's all I can say. And everybody's like, write a book. And I'm like, someday when I have time and I want to pen it down, I may write a book. I don't know. It's been a lifelong journey. People say, where does it start? I went to 17 schools in 12 years. I have
Growing up?
Of those 17 schools, I did long distance education before it was online or anything. The plane dropped the books.
Yeah.
To the lake, onto the lake that was frozen, and you'd run out there and you'd get the box. And so I went to 17 schools in 12 years. Plus I did 3 years of distant education. In those 3 years, I got 3 years done in 1.5. And
wow,
I took a
girl,
year and
you
a
sound
half
like
off.
a genius. So tell me about
Education.
Was that the 17 schools in 12 years, right? What was the reason for that, for all of the different schools?
I probably have a bit of a past like Siobhan. I just had gypsy parents and unstable. Just challenges like left, right, and center. It's just challenges. I can't even explain. There's a billion of them. That would be a whole lifelong story and a book of that. 5 years old, we lived in a place where there was no place for me to go to school. I was going to be 6 years old.
You
So instead of that, I actually raised my three
you
sisters above me.
froze, Kim. You froze. You
Froze.
said at 5 years old, and then you froze.
At 5, I was taking care of 3 older siblings and cooking and cleaning and doing everything for them while my mother was having a nervous breakdown, and we lived in the middle of nowhere. I wasn't allowed to go to school because somebody
Gotcha.
had to do that, and I got the other ones. I'd walk them, I'd do their breakfast, I'd do their lunches, I'd walk them up to the bus stop, I'd clean, I'd do the whole living thing. I was barely 6 years old. That's where it started. From there on, I've been cooking, so there's where the cooking
Yeah.
skills come from.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
You just figure it out. People are like, do you measure?
Absolutely.
You're like, heck no.
Right. Your passion for cooking started not necessarily because of a desire, but because you had to feed yourself and your family.
Right? Very young.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was just I became a very independent and resilient person, and I did things myself. I didn't rely on
Mhm.
my parents. I never ever thought of relying on my parents. When people said, well, who paid the rent? I'm like, that's a sketchy subject there.
Right.
Because a lot, like, I was making money when I was super young, super young. I was a part of everything. And I was just really independent on my own. We ended up, all of us, on our own when we were 16. So all of us in the family ended up on our own, and we went off and did our thing. And we went and lived life in the crazy fashion. Siobhan, some of the things she did, I'm like, I can remember doing those things and driving those crazy ways. But
Yeah.
I worked as I worked nights, went to school full-time days, and worked on weekends, and then enjoyed life. I did that for about
Right.
10 years. 10 years, so I was about 30 years old, and just went off and was doing everything. I was married and had all that going, but we didn't have children. We worked apart. We
Hmm.
worked apart, so we weren't really together. And we sort of lived our lives a little bit and went off and did our things. I didn't actually have my son until I was 32. I had him when I was
Right.
32. I'm 53 now, and he's 21. So I had medical issues, and my doctor told me you'd never have children.
Uh-huh.
And I had medical issues where I would never have children, and I used birth control, and I got pregnant.
I know. Oh my gosh. So tell me about like the shock, like when you were like, what? I mean, obviously because y'all had been trying to have children, right?
No, yes and no. No, I used birth control because no, we were not
Well, I
going
mean, I'm
to, and
sorry.
I
I'm
used
sorry. You used birth control, but
try
I mean,
not to.
on our previous conversation, I thought that that you had this desire and just, okay, to have
I did.
children.
I wanted to, but I just knew I couldn't. It was just something I knew.
I
They
see.
told me you weren't going to have children. It was just, sorry, that happened when you were 20 years old, and it was a medical situation. It's not going to change anything. And,
Mhm.
we're challenged with you. So when I was 32 years old and on, here you go, birth control with the medical issue, Christmas Eve, Dylan was conceived.
Wow.
Welcome,
L-
Dylan.
I love the name
Welcome
Dylan.
the next Kinley athlete to the world. He
Yeah.
showed up in his little athlete body, just coming out of there and
Oh.
pumping and moving.
Oh. So
Yeah,
my one of my nephews is named Dylan, so I'm very you know partial to that.
yeah,
Now you just cut out. Are you hardwired in? Or are you on the?
I am.
Oh, I
I
wonder
am
what's going
hardwired
on there.
in.
Okay. You just went blank, but I could still hear you. So tell me about your son. And you be okay. So share the story with my audience that you were just sharing with me before we came on about like what happened, after you brought Dylan into the world.
I noticed really early on with Dylan, he's a very active individual, very active child, but he did certain things that he compensated just through learning skills. And as a teacher, as an educator, I know certain aspects of the foundations of learning, and I had studied science for a lot of years, so I saw certain things, and I just put him in lots of activities and stuff. But as he started to go to school, I noticed the differences, and the public school system won't do anything until they're in the intermediate, till they're in like grade 4, and by then they're lost, they're done. So in about the grade 3 level, I noticed it. I went off and I paid arm and leg to have everything diagnosed on him. He has 5 different levels of disabilities within his human body.
What are those
And it was a
disabilities?
long,
Uh-huh.
he's got a neuroocular disconnection with one eye. For those that don't know, Dylan is a scholarship athlete. He's just gone up to the next level.
That is
Blessed on
so,
him.
oh my gosh.
With a wonky eye doing this, and the kid can put up 30. And his
Wow.
eye is doing this
He's got
until he
determination and resiliency. He's like, I'm
he
taking life out of
must.
the balls. I don't care what anybody, what's going on.
Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of people, here's the empowerment thing. Everybody's academics. You got to be educated. You got to be educated. He's learning
Yeah.
disabled.
Wow.
But his avenue to go pro in basketball is in college. As a single parent, I'd have to have a lot of money to be able to put him all around the country and get him visual everywhere. Not that easy in Canada. So we use the education system to do so. And he's got to work 10 times harder than anybody else, so he shines in his basketball. So he has an ocular, he has a palate, he's dyslexic, he is it's a spatial, he has a spatial disconnection. Oh, there's one more that is through the psychoeducation DS. It's an inability to bring three systems together to hone in on the neuron to make them with the hormones. It's a weird thing. I'd have to be a long distance. I don't even want to go into
Right.
it. It's a really long one. Anyways, it's the apple. It's the cherry on the top of the kid's cake.
Gotcha.
But he's got all this stuff going on, and I just stopped working because I had to, and find a way to create revenue to educate the child, to keep us together, where he wasn't his confidence. The public school system cannot support this.
Right.
I don't care what you say or who you are in my group. You know this. Your system cannot support my child. And I had to do that. I had to take that, and I had to do it myself.
Right.
I had to take different courses and learn how to do it. Like, there's just, the money is not there. So you learn how to do it. And people like, I don't have the capacity. You do.
Right.
You just choose not to be
Abso-frickin-lutely.
uncomfortable. You choose not to be uncomfortable. You choose not to live without things. You want this certain thing to be this certain way, and you don't want to give it up. When you give up that control and you take the power to do what you have to do, you end up like little Diller and I. And I'm going to share this with you. One, life doesn't have to always be perfect. Life doesn't have to be perfect.
Right. Exactly.
This ball is so old, and it has these markings on it. Hold on. CIS. When Dylan was 7 years old, he wanted to go to that organization. He just got offered a full ride scholarship at a school.
I'm sorry, but he sounds
right?
extraordinary. And I mean, he's got an extraordinary mom. I mean, when you're telling me your story of how you grew up and what you had to do, it's like that put you in the perfect position to create and care for him. And that's why he's so determined in life. He probably doesn't see himself as any type of disability.
And you know what's weird, Stephanie? The weirdest thing is not everybody, people want him in this box. Go get this job, work at this pension, not passion, do this, don't do that, do this, do that, do that. And when people say that to him because he can't do that, and he's like this, I'm like, lay off. He is going to be something.
Abso-frickin-lutely.
But he's not going to be you. And you know what? That's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. This is his journey. You live your journey. If only people could wake up and realize the power they have to, here is someone who, someone could say the world is just stacked against him, but he's just, defying all the odds. Like I'm not disabled. I don't have a disability. Look at what I can do. I can do anything. Mindset. Wow.
Exactly.
That's so empowering.
And we look at this thing during pandemic,
yeah.
And we know how the economy's gone. I'll be honest with you. My whole platform, this is my 1 year anniversary. We were locked down 1 year ago today. I lost all of my contracts. I had about 6 months worth of income. We now sit in an empty house. We've sold all our furniture. We have one car we share. We're completely bankrupt. We have nothing. We barely have enough food. We barely pay our rent from day to day. But you know what? Who cares? We're here. Next, what's next?
Yeah.
What
What's
can we do
next?
next?
Thank you.
Let's pivot. Like, we're going to breathe tomorrow. We have each other. We are in Canada, first off. I got to tell you, I'm blessed
Yes,
just to be
girl.
here.
Oh, yeah. That I'm dying. That's why I haven't been to Canada one place. I have several friends, and throughout the years, but now I have you and Siobhan. Yeah, and Tanya Horn. We got to go on a trip. Like we got to go on like a girls trip and like travel, like go to another country, go somewhere. And I'm coming to Canada to see you
Exactly.
guys. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Somebody better open up a bedroom because I'm coming.
Right?
Golly.
And
So
somebody asked
yeah,
me, like, what are you going to do now? I'm like, I would say that 40% of the population doesn't know what they're going to do anymore. But this opportunity, it's not the pandemic
wasn't
was
up.
an
Thank
opportunity.
you. Thank you.
Okay, we hated what we did. We were locked into jobs that were killing us. We had capital corporate that is going to eat itself inside out. You got, just so you know, corporate capitalism will eat itself inside out. You don't need to work on that. They're going to eat themselves inside out all by themselves. The rest of us can be in that, but don't have to play in the sandbox. We can see
Right.
that, we can partake in the outskirts of that, but we don't have to be in that sandbox. We can be here. We can support each other. We can help. We can
Yes.
make what we have in collaborator fashions. Let's talk about collaboration instead of competition, people.
Thank you. Thank you. The
So many things.
mindset, there's plenty for everyone. And what we as a collective, as a whole, need to figure out is how everyone can thrive and be like live in a state of joy. It is our birthrights to thrive. But again, it doesn't matter what you have or don't have. It's your mindset. And
It
if
is.
you don't have the mindset, like you could be a billionaire and have a scarcity mindset. Have you ever read the book, The Trance of Scarcity?
Yeah.
One of the best books I've ever read.
It's,
The- you
yes.
know, and
You can have
like,
nothing when you have everything. You just,
yes, and like, for instance, on the last episode I was talking about with Amy Charland, and I brought up like the conditioning, the subconscious subliminal conditioning, poverty mindset, scarcity mindset. Most advertisements are on sale, discount. And it occurred to me, I can't, like several months ago, wow, like what that's doing to condition us about money, limited beliefs, lack mentality, that in order for you to have, it has to be on sale at a discount. And yeah, I mean, just think about it. Just and once you become aware, you don't know what you don't know until you're made aware that it even exists. And once you start opening up your mind and your experience, it's amazing what then you will realize, the epiphanies that will come in your own life. And Kim, I mean, you really emanate joy.
thank you.
Like you really, like, your presence is joy, and it's not because you have everything or you have this perfect life, or there are no issues or obstacles, but you choose. Like
Yeah.
you just, because I don't know that even because I've been in a place of struggle and like being knocked down, flattened. But every day I chose, while I was in this state of panic or scared to death or knowing, am I going to be able to make this happen, make this work? And but I chose every day to still get up and do for myself, create for myself, meditate, write my goals, write, do vision boards, focus on what it is that I could see myself,
Yeah.
existing in. And but it was painful. It was scary and painful, but it's like you just emanate, and I love it. Yeah.
Do you know what's crazy is that we do not understand that we've been living numb. Like, like
Cold
people,
chills, girl.
is like, is that really like, is institutionalized, box it in, do the line, do the thing. I can talk about, and again, as a tutor and a person who tutors disability students and
Yeah.
has read 300 textbooks. And I'll never forget a prof saying to me, Kim, you've hacked yourself a PhD. Because I asked him, I said, I want to go back and get my degree.
Mhm.
And he goes, you have a few. And I see no point in you getting a degree. I'm like, well, all of you nice talking heads won't deal with me because I don't have the talking head piece of paper. So I
Right.
think I have to go and get the talking head piece of paper. And he looked at me and he goes, you've hacked your way to a PhD, my friend. And I said, so I'm going to get the next generation going. I'm not going to do but you know what? My son, he's not even sure if he'll finish his degree because it is so hard for him. What is 1 hour of reading for you is 8 for him.
Yeah.
Figure that out at third and fourth level. And he's doing a Bachelor of Arts, but he wants to hone in on the sociology end of it because he's very into people and how to get people to do things that are better for themselves. He's like that. He sees it in me and he knows it, right?
Cold
He's
chills again, girl.
emanating me,
Wow.
right? He's emanating me. So he sees this and he likes how I educate and everything, but he doesn't understand why he needs to go and sit inside that classroom and listen to this when he, one, can't hear that fast, two, can't write that fast, three, has to pay attention for 3 hours. Who does prof lectures for 2 to 3 hours? And he's like, is there a reason that I can't get a degree and just play ball? And I like learning about people. Do I have to do it that way? And I'm like, oh, honey, I wish that we were at a spot where it didn't have to be like that. And the talking heads didn't tell us we had to do this. I said,
Right.
but until then, here we are.
Kim, the
So I teach
paradigm. Yeah.
education outside. My new thing, and my colleague people, you're not going to like me on this. Sorry, it's going to hurt you. I am doing the foundation. Everybody can be a personal trainer and learn their own exercise programs and learn it just like the Fit Pros. I started on Thursday, lunch and lectures. Come join me. You want to be a Fit Pro and do it for free?
Hail to the
Ready?
yeah. Oh, I love it.
I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission.
Wow. You're going
Yep.
places.
And I want to help people
Yeah.
reconnect. We've been unconnected for so long. People need to know how to exercise
Yes.
themselves. They
Right.
know how to cook their own food. And they need to know how to learn this education of the classes. So instead of calling it education, I'm calling it classes because this is foundation knowledge everybody should have.
We're all continuously being educated, you know.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, the paradigm is shifting, like the educational system, the whole everything they've been living in and used to and think is just commonplace. Like you call it the talking heads. They're telling you this is what you got to do and this is what you got to do to have this. But we're really shifting that paradigm of learning. I'm not saying that college is not a good thing, but it's like you have just as much to offer, if not even more, because of life experience, because of your mindset, because of your resiliency, because of what you've done for your own life,
Mhm.
as somebody who studied and got that piece of paper. You see what I mean? That's just, yeah.
And the funky thing is the things we forget too. Before I took on the choices that I have to make sure that my son is raised in an environment that is self confidently sustainable for him, that doesn't let those voices in. I've been to university, people. I've been to college. I've been to university. I finished I finished school 3 years early in the public school system. It's just whatever it is. It's whatever. I don't have value for those systems because they're just systems put together, and we're losing the people in those systems. So I've been to university. I
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah, me too.
papers behind me.
Right,
I just
right,
chose not, I chose to learn. As I tell my students, I choose to learn what I want to. And every process, Kim, you need to finish this degree. You need to finish this degree. And I'm like, but the information I want isn't available in that degree. And I need to go over here to get it. And they're like, you're wasting money. I'm like, because I don't have the piece of paper. I have more than enough college education and credits to probably put together 2 degrees, but they're
right.
not in the folds
Right.
They're not in the folds. They should be. And I don't care. Everybody else cares. I don't care.
Right. Well, I have a friend who um, has lost her job due to the pandemic, and she is wanting to get into some sort of B2B type of sales in a specific area that you have to have that for. She doesn't have a 4-year degree. She has a 2-year associate's degree, but all this other experience, in sales, et cetera, et cetera. But because she doesn't have that piece of paper, she's not technically qualified to do, but she could probably run circles around some of the other people in that position that do have that piece of paper, you
The
know?
argument is we have to set standard. Here's my argument with standard. It needs to be agile. And if we can't agile standard, standard's useless.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because again, there are no black and white boxes. You can't put everyone in these two boxes. I mean, like there is no box. And when you start to see the world as not a box, and that the limitless and infinite opportunities, and one of my favorite things I like to say is that if anything is possible for anyone, anything is possible for anyone. And I don't care what it is. I mean, you could use the example of, like, just to say, well, Stephanie, I can't be a supermodel. I'm not 6 foot tall and 100 pounds with these big, huge cheekbones. Well, but why? Why couldn't you? Because you could be supermodeling for something completely, it'd still be considered supermodel. I don't care what it is. I mean, there are people who you look how much adversity and like struggle that you've been through. You're like your entire life, and you just emanate, and you still have this mindset. Okay, we're here, we're happy, we're breathing. There's so much to be grateful for. Like,
Yeah.
I taught, like, I've got a course. It's called Empower Your Mind, Empower Your Life, and it's about that mindset. And it's asking yourself those basic questions, like write down 10 things that are awesome about you. What? Well, I don't know. I can't even think of one thing. It's like, wow. It's like, but start. Think. Maybe take 10 minutes. It might take you 10 minutes. Think of one thing. But then after you think of that one thing, you might be thinking of two. Then that two becomes four. That four becomes 6 things. It's like, but you've got to put yourself in that mindset. You've got to want. You've got to want, not what you're investing in so much that you'll do whatever it takes. And that's clearly what you and your son do. Wow, he's
You know
so
what's funny?
so fortunate to have you as a
This
mom.
next generation. Thank you. This next generation, like, we're on technology.
Mhm.
You and I love technology. We're
Oh,
learning
yeah.
it,
Yeah, that's how I promote
and
myself.
right, and he's on technology as well. So I mean, he's the next generation. He'll be 21 in September. He's got this smashed phone. He's never on it. He he's not a he is technology, but he's not a freak about it. He likes movement. He gets it. He's on it. He understands it. But he also always asks, why is there so much of it? Like, is there not something else beyond it? So my thought as an educator is, if people can educate themselves to use it as a tool, and to use it just as that tool, and then to take what they can take, the best ends of it, which is sort of what empowering is about, because technology has put us to sleep, Stephanie.
Mhm,
Open app, swipe right, 8 seconds, and that's all people are going to give you. But we know that if we use it correctly
mhm.
and we actually embrace it properly, it can be, there's a lot of positives it can bring, but it's taught us to
Absolutely.
not be,
Right, absolutely.
that.
Um,
It
you know
controls us, but we want to control it.
right, right. Oh my god, I love that. Well, we got some comments. So Siobhan said, "Amazing, Kim. She had no idea about Dylan's disabilities."
Yeah. I just get silent on speaking about them after a while. You get a lot of, there's nothing you can do right as a parent in the visual of other parents. There's just nothing. You're just
Right.
going to talk to thousands of it. Like, everybody's got their ideas and everything.
Again,
And
yeah,
I as
there's no
well.
boxes. Mm-hmm.
right? I try so hard not to judge other parents. I understand we're all fighting our own battles and we've all got our own backgrounds. And I really try that, even myself, when it comes up and it's like, Kim, don't be judgy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. They've all got their stories. So people, there's this word, and many parents will understand this. Educators use this, and I'm an educator, so I'm like double
Yes,
sorted.
you are.
Kim, are you a helicopter parent? Oh, sorry, I can't use that finger. Um, okay, stop that word. Stop that phrase.
Mhm. I've
There,
never
the
heard that
people.
phrase. What does that mean?
Oh, helicopter parent. Oh, you're around your child. Oh, are you okay? Oh, are you okay? Don't harm my child. Don't let that person talk.
Oh,
Like da 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 da. And people call you a helicopter. You're helicoptering your child, raising them instead of letting them fail.
right.
A
And
helicopter parent is one that comforts, doesn't let any of those negatives, doesn't let the challenges of the child, the child work through the challenge
mm-hmm.
to create self-confidence and self-esteem and know they can do things, the little engine that could. So that's a helicopter
Right.
parent. And
Okay.
with a disabled child, people see you as a helicopter parent. They're like, you're using that disability, Kim, as a crutch to him, and you need to let him fail more. Okay, one, I'm Kim, and I'll do whatever the I want in this world. I know him, and I watch his self-esteem. I build people's self-esteem every
Mm,
day. That's what I do.
yes. Yes.
When I watch you torture his self-esteem and I realize his learning disability is interfering with his ability to deal with the situation
Mm-hmm.
and what you're doing is harming him, I will then stand within that space and ask you to move back
Right.
and let him. That's not helicopter parenting. That is me saving any human anywhere
Right.
from somebody destroying their self-esteem. I would do that with anybody.
Right.
So it just so happens, right? And it really funky now because he's 6'4". So trying to, help and do it on a parenting thing, because I understand, because I get that shoulder thing and I get the
Mm-hmm.
stay the distance mom.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and we've got signals. So we know when to help each other.
Right.
We know when to, Dylan, do you need me to, is that a problem you need me to solve? Or do you want to just talk to me, Dylan? Do you want to just vent? Or do you need
Right.
me to help you? Right? We got these things and people
Yeah.
don't understand that. They see it as a really weird relationship and as a helicopter parent, but we have our mechanisms. So
Right.
when Siobhan says that, I know the first time I'm like, I can't even get into it, you guys. I can't even get into it. It's so much deeper than the education system that has tried to destroy him. And you think about it, he's been an athlete in there. So all of these teachers and all of these coaches that are within that education system have had their opportunity to do their numbers on him as well.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
You got to do it.
Yeah. Is he there now? Is he there?
No,
Oh,
he
okay.
was he actually so he shot last night till 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, wow.
He is so serious about his skill and his craft. And he practices me coaching. He's like, I'm going to teach you how to coach this. And you tell me if you understand how I'm coaching you.
Yeah. Wow.
So we
Oh,
got it. It's just
so
a matter of time.
he's teaching you as much as you're teaching him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just a process, right? It's just a journey in
Mm-hmm.
life. And as far as I'm concerned, when it's education and it's jobs and we have to be this way and this way and this way, no, we don't.
No.
You have a life journey. How you want to live that life journey is on you. Now, be a good person.
Yes, be
Try
kind.
and find something productive to do with your life because you don't want to be bored. It doesn't make a good person to be bored. Find something to do
Or miserable.
and
Right.
right and just be a part of the world and be a part of the good things that it can bring.
Absolutely. And a lot of people that they live in that state of fear, like you were saying, um, about being uncomfortable. Like no one likes to feel uncomfortable. I get that. We're not saying, but sometimes that allowing yourself to feel that discomfort is where a lot of the growth really happens. Like where where you're going in and you're being self-reflective, you're discovering your who you are. And that's so scary for people because it's
Yes.
like it's so much easier for someone to tell them, well, this is the box you need to be in. You do this and that, and then make this decision, and then go here and then do that, and flip this over, and your life is just going to be a. And there are so many people that that execute their life in that manner, and they're unfulfilled, they're miserable, they don't understand,
Right.
like, I've done this, I did this, I did that, I did what, this will be fun, they said, this will be good, they said, and they're living in that state of, but they fear making a change.
I know, and it always
And
stuns me that people are like, I have to do pension job or a passion job. I'm like, why? Why don't you make your pension passionate? That comes from you. I put that on you, not the institution you work for. Because in
yes,
the end, people, in the end, there is no institution. We are the institution.
yes,
We can't change it.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, we
yeah, we
are,
can.
yes,
So change it. Change it. It's not working for anybody. You see a 60% obesity rate? It's because the institutions aren't working. You see only 25% can afford to go to post-secondary? That's because the institutions aren't working. We are them. I'm just so stunned that people think we can't change them. We can crumble them today if we want to. We just choose not to.
right, right. Again, it's that, well, this is the way it's always been. This is how it's always worked. What do you mean? We're planting seeds, Kim. That's what we're doing. That's what I
We
call it,
are,
planting seeds, because 300 years ago, life was a lot different.
right?
200 years ago, life was a lot different. But it's the belief, or the mindset of those people that were planting those seeds, that were changing mindsets, that were changing paradigms, that were changing reality and way of life. We're gonna continue to evolve. We're gonna continue to shift paradigms, break down,
Right?
dismantle bullshit, thinking that keeps us locked in these boxes, that keeps us
Exactly.
confined, that it perpetuates this misery, perpetuates this lack of fulfillment.
It just puts hair
I
on
know,
my
girl. I know.
arm,
I've had cold chills
right?
like several times during our call. And one of my friends, she's now a friend. She started out as an Airbnb guest, and we became really, really, really good friends. Well, she is back, and she's going to be on my podcast. But we every morning, like we're just like we don't even breathe. Like when she got here on
Yep.
Sunday night, I was like I don't think we breathed for 2 hours. We were, and it's just I love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
love these
I
conversations.
think that the thing that the pandemic, it's the missed opportunity that people don't understand, or they understand, but they're unwilling to change their lives around it. It paused us. A pause is a great thing.
Culture,
Pausing is lovely, people.
yes,
Breathe it
it's
in.
it,
Pausing is okay. And
it's how you
I
choose to live.
feel, and I'm a belief person. And my
Yes, ma'am.
dad, religious background, comes from that end of it as well. I have that belief, and you'll just see things I do that way. Here it is. You have to believe in something. You have to believe in something outside of these institutes. There has to be something more than what we
Mm,
think. So just keep on the mindset that everything we do opens up to more, not less. And the pause was the ultimate opportunity, and still is, because we're paused. We got many time, and everybody's like, oh, it's going to open. Oh, it's going to open. It's going to open lovely things.
yeah.
And you need to be willing to have the open mind and to
Yes.
take that and say, you know what, even
And
if you're in a job right now, so even if you're in a job right now and you've been in a job during the pandemic and you're like, oh, I'm watching everybody around you, do it.
hmm
Jump.
hmm
Do it. Just do it.
the open mind and the open heart set. And I'm if you're passionately pursuing, and you passionately, wholeheartedly believe in something, you can create that for yourself. You can manifest that for yourself. And it's when you are doing what you're told, or doing what they say you should do, when you lose, like lose yourself. You lose, and the greatest gift we are is ourselves. The greatest gift we can be
Yes.
is ourselves.
And you know
And
what's funny, Stephanie? So when you were interviewing, was it Amy
Amy,
that you
yes,
interviewed last?
last
Yes. So she when she said something, she's like, I want to talk to Kim. And I'm like, social engineering of education. John Agnon, you got to go study this social engineering because you're in neighborhoods. They give you these
yes,
resources. They train these children to be factory workers. So they get those resources in the education. In this school, they get these resources and these teachers
hmm,
and this education because we're training these children to run the world.
right.
It is socially engineered. It is educationally engineered. It is institutionally engineered. And if you don't believe
Yes,
that, you are so off the marker of
that
why
is,
people are
mhm,
educating you. You have no clue.
yeah.
You are so off the narrative.
That's why the classrooms are single file desks, everybody facing one way. Creativity is not celebrated. It's math, it's history, it's this because again, like you said, it's training people to work in that, whether it's a factory or it's just in that mindset, that box mindset. And
Right?
I love to say it. I'm going to say it again. Y'all going to hear me say it on every freaking podcast, probably, that there needs to be a curriculum taught in schools, every single school system around the world, that is an hour a day alongside math and alongside spelling. That's all about cultivating self-awareness, real self, like real sense of self and the self power, the be living, knowing your worth and value, knowing that you are of value, that you are important, that you know knowing your uniqueness. And again, people can live in can be brought up in very extremely painful, unfathomable circumstances, and instead of perpetuating that and you becoming that because that's what you think your truth is, you go to, because you have to go to school. I mean, I know the pandemic, it's a little bit different, but I mean, I think in most school, it's most areas, it's illegal if you don't send your child to school. Anyway, but an hour a day where they're learning, I don't have to be my alcoholic father. I don't have to be my drug addict mom. I don't have to be the abuse that I
Right.
see, that I grow up in. I am unique. I am special. I am important. I matter.
Exactly. We teach none of that. When Dylan was in school and I had to take him to school, I would know what he was going to learn. And then we would go a half an hour early and I'd say, "Okay, Dylan, you're learning math today." And we would take rocks and we go before math and we would learn running and rocks. And I'm like, "Dylan, I need 8 rocks of this size over there in this order." I said, "And you have like, I don't know, 2 minutes to do it. I'm going to put the timer on." And then he'd have to count the rocks because he'd lose track because he has no spatial. He has no ability to hold information, no space. So he'd get there and he'd have to run back and count them again halfway because he would lose it. The teacher said by the time he got into class 1, his energy was in check because he was tired. 2, his mind was on, ready for math because somebody started it with activity.
Mhm.
And 3, he was hungry and quiet. So he just sat there and ate and learned because he knew what you precursored him.
Yeah. Wow.
I got nothing, people. I've got try parenting that way instead of standing in the schoolyard with your arms crossed while they're all running around. Maybe give them something guidance to do while they're running around and give them something to think about. Empower them while they're there.
Cold. Oh my God, girl. The wave of cold chills.
We can't wait for the institutions. All they're
Yeah.
taught is to educate, to follow a curriculum. Every time they try and step outside of it, a union's going to say to them, "You're not being paid for that." So
Right.
between the institutions and the unions and everybody locking them in, they have zero power to educate our children.
Right.
We have to take the power back, people. You got to take it back,
Absolutely.
right? It's not like Dylan's not
Start a
educated.
revolution.
He's
Yeah.
not, he's educated. I'm educated. We can both read and write. We can both do all of that. So I'm with Stephanie. You have to go to school. You have to, you need to get intelligence in your body. I'm not going to call it education. Up
Mhm.
your intelligence,
Intelligence,
right?
emotional intelligence.
Intelligence.
Yes.
Like, stop reading a text, stop reading from left to right because that's what somebody's told you to do.
Oh my God, girl. Wow. This has been an empowered conversation.
Right?
Oh my God, I love it.
I'm not asking everybody to go outside the lines. I'm just saying, think for yourself,
Just think
not
for
asking for it, right?
yourself. I mean, you're not wanting how you parent isn't the right way for someone else, but it could, but outside of the paradigm of doing what you're told. Well, this is what I'm told. This is how I was brought up. This is what they said. This is the institution. That well, no, yeah, bring it. That's all there for you. Yeah, I mean, like it's brought something. It's part of your journey, but it doesn't mean that you have to remain there.
No, and
You
it
can
needs
you
to
can take
evolve.
all of that. You can take all of your experiences and then
Yeah.
create something so incredibly amazing that's unique to you, you know?
I am super excited to be able to I would wish I could see 20 years in the future to what our education systems are going to look like because there's going to be a collapse of some sort and a
Yeah.
paradigm shift, like
Mhm.
massive shift, and
That's it.
it's going to happen because this is what it showed us.
'Cause
We
our
didn't even get
conversation,
our
girl.
kids we didn't even get our kids back to school when we locked them down because our educators and brilliant people in the world couldn't figure out how to get our kids online. Oh, Jesus. So
Oh god.
God
Yes.
help us. That proved our smartest people in the world couldn't handle the pressure. And that's our masterminds.
Right. Right.
I got you. I got you. As Mr. C would see, Courtney, love him to death. My athlete that stayed with me from Texas. Texas. Love you, Courtney. I got you.
Hell to
I
the
got
yeah.
you.
The School of Kim Bond. I like that school. I like the sound of that. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it has been just absolutely incredibly fascinating and fantastically fabulous to have you today, Kim. And any other gold nuggets or anything else you'd like to share? Like, how can people find you?
Yeah. So I haven't reinvented myself. I have had a company for 30 years and it was everyday athletes. And most of you know me under the everyday athletes ring. I figured that everybody every day could be the athlete they chose. You don't have to be in athletics to be an athlete. So people would say, "Oh, my athletics is Kim. Kim is my athlete today." And we would just do things. So I took athletic movements and I just made them everyday movement way back 25 years ago.
Uh-huh.
So now I wanted to switch it and I wanted to rebrand. And we are in the true Northwest and I wanted to really speak Canada. So my little logo, True Northwest. Here's how this came.
I love that. It's a spoon and a fork. I love that.
It's a toonie. It's a toonie. It's a Canadian toonie. It's a
Oh,
$2
okay. See,
bill.
I didn't even know that. I'm just like, oh my God. I thought I had to.
Right? So,
Yeah.
True Northwest Academy. It's a toonie, Diller basketball.
Uh-huh.
I cook.
That's what I
We
meant. Yeah, 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 yeah.
exercise.
I knew
Uh,
it was a conglomeration of everything that
yeah,
you do. Yeah.
exactly. So Dylan's basketball. We both exercise. We cook. It's a toonie because we're Canada, True Northwest, and an academy because I teach. That is sort of the brand I came. That's where we went, was with that brand. Um,
Girl, that is
it's
fabulous.
so that's where I branded. So truenorthwestacademy.ca. That's my website. Anything you see, here it is. People want me to be corporate. They want me to buy 100 plates so I don't have to do my own social media and I can put it on auto social media. That's not me. I
Right.
don't do that. I do no auto social media. True Northwest Academy website, I made it. It's me. I done the whole thing. I now know how to get a shopping cart on my website. I learned a lot. So you can find me at truenorthwestacademy.ca.
Let
I
me
am on Facebook. Typing that in. I can type
yes.
in
Yes, I am. True Northwest
West
Academy
Academy.ca.
dot ca.
Thank you.
Did it post? Hopefully it posts. Because sometimes I've posted comments. Yeah, there it is. Oh, it goes to YouTube. That's why I'm not seeing them on, but I stream 3 places.
So I do have
TNWA.ca.
YouTube.
Thank you, Siobhan. Thank you, Siobhan.
Yeah, I know, it's me of
Yes.
my pitch. So that picture was when the forest fires were
Uh-huh.
so heavy here, we
Mm.
couldn't see. That was over one of our beautiful rivers, and I was holding up the fire, the forest fire, and I'm like, "I'm holding up the world. Here I am holding up the world." And I just thought, here we are, and we were doing a Parkinson's Society walk with Dylan's grandma,
Mhm.
and we couldn't go out. It was during the pandemic, so we're all social distance. Only fam went out. Dylan went out there. We did our walk for the Parkinsons, and that's what that picture is of there. And that's what True Northwest Academy. That's one of my raw things right there. So I support that. Grandma and her Parkinson's. We're on that,
Mhm.
and we also do the other thing we do. What I'm really proud of, and I'm really proud of Dylan's sister. Shout out to Janelle Ewart. She's in Grand Cayman. And Dylan does the Canadian shore cleanup. So he gets garbage, puts it in garbage bags, and cleans all the waterways that go into the ocean. That's one of the things we do. His sister does the steward in Grand Cayman on the Barrier Reef. She's a diver. And he's had the opportunity to go down there with her. So they're both a part of that at different parts in the world. Isn't that amazing? And they're
That
they're
is
half brother and sister.
wow, that is
Amazing. So we do that, but we've done that through True Northwest Academy. That's where
yeah.
we're going with that. And then, so we're up on social media. You'll find us in Facebook. I do have a True Northwest Academy community group. That's a
Mhm.
private group. In there, I exercise, I cook, and I am teaching you how to do your own exercise programs, just like a Fit Pro. You can find me. It's private though, so I have to invite you on there. But I do have a True Northwest Academy page on Facebook you can get to. We're on. We're up on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We are on IG. We're up everywhere, and I'm just slowly plunking my way through everything. So, yeah,
Taking
Kim Bond.
advantage of all that fantastic
Yeah.
technology.
And it's
That's how
funny because my
technology
last name is
Yeah, go ahead.
right. My last name is Kinley, but I was married Bond very, very young, and I love the Bonds. I just love
Yeah,
them. They're still my
I'm
family. They're
I'm
still all my
Kim.
family,
I'm Kim Bond. Kim
right?
Bond.
I I remember going across a bridge and getting pulled over and looking at the two in the back seat. James Bond. Are you ready? Robin Williams. And I looked in the back seat. I said, either of you open your mouth. I said, and I'll chuck you off the bridge. Either of you open your mouth and I'll chuck you off the bridge. Soon as they did open the window, he just pops his head. He goes, hi, I'm James Bond. I'm like, I do not like you, husband, at all. At all. Like, can you just calm that down?
That's
Sure as
hilarious.
heck, right? So
Wow.
I kept the Bond.
Mhm.
And but here's an irony. My last name is Kinley. Dylan's last name is Kinley. He got my maiden name. Why? It's just an institutional thing, people,
Abso-freaking-lutely. Thank
right?
you.
And Dylan, my
Dismantling the
dad is Gene
institutions.
Kinley, and my son is Gene Kinley. And that's why it doesn't matter if I'm a female. My son can be Gene Kinley because my dad's Gene Kinley.
It's passing on your genes, girl. Your fabulous genes.
And all the athletes in our family are under the name Kinley. I just knew
Oh,
when
I
he
love
was
it.
born, he came out that he was going to be a Kinley athlete.
You
Yeah,
just start your own team.
I know.
I mean,
I do
golly.
coach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She coaches too, guys. Excuse me. She's a coach. She's a trainer to the trainers. Yeah.
yeah,
Teaches people how to work out, how to eat healthy.
yeah.
Love
Helping
it.
the world just like you guys are doing.
Thank you.
That's
Yes.
why we all
Yes.
resonate together, right,
Absolutely.
Stephanie? Because we're
I've
just
been
all trying to do
begging.
that in power.
I've been begging for this. I've been begging to bring into my life more people with the same core values, with the growth mindset, with the expansive mindset, with the wanting to make the world a better place mindset. Absolutely. And it's just, and here we are. And now we got to get
Right?
to hanging out in person. I'm
I
telling you,
know.
Siobhan, we're going to go on a trip. I don't know if you heard me say that. You,
Dylan, every day
Kim,
Dylan's like,
Tanya,
is the
me.
border open?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my
What
God.
and
No
what
borders. Like we don't, we're all of the
him being
universe.
an
We're all here.
athlete,
We're all collective. We're part of one
right?
another.
And him being an athlete, we have traveled all over, so we're used to traveling. We're like the travel
Oh
bug people.
man,
So to not travel, it's like,
Oh, I know, I know. I'm getting. I've had the itch for several months now. I'm like just wanting to go to another country just because the travel. I mean, I'm not talking about going and staying at resorts, all included. I'm talking about going out and going into like the real, you know, th- what makes that particular community, and experiencing different types of people with different ideas, with different backgrounds, with different,
right,
just what it does for you. Not only are you become more comfortable with who you are, but you become comfortable with all different types of people, and understanding that we're all, it's what makes the world go around, and such a beautiful place.
right.
Yeah.
That's why I said to Dylan when he in about a year or two he'll focus on going pro, and I'm like, go Australia, go Europe, go Scandinavia,
Oh
go
yeah, yeah.
away,
Oh
go
my God.
away.
Well, Kim, this has been a huge
Thank you.
treat. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you for everyone that's been on and commenting. We've got Siobhan says, I'm outnumbered by Canadians. I don't give a rat's ass, girl. We sisters. We are sisters. We are part of the same uh, conglomeration of atoms from the periodic table.
Yeah, really. She was in the book 365.
I
So,
know. Oh my God. And we can't see, I want
right?
the book. We can't get it over here in the States yet. I've, tr-
Oh,
I've been,
even like,
I've tried, and it's not even available to us.
do you want to know what's amazing, Stephanie?
Yeah.
That book 365, I am amazed at the women that I am connected with that are actually authors.
I know,
I was
cold chills.
stunned
Cold
how
chills.
many of the
Oh,
women
cold
are. I was like, I know this person. I know this person. I know that. I just know that. And I was like, Siobhan, Renee. And I'm like, you guys are crazy. So we apparently, though, Renee has like 4 or 5 books at her store. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming. They're
yes.
there, though.
Oh my God.
Love it.
Oh my God. Guys, wow, what an incredible conversation. If you joined at any point other than at the very beginning, you need to go back and rewatch from the beginning. There's been one gold nugget after another, one amazing revelation, epiphany shared after another. This has really been so much fun. It's been such a delight having you. You really are the epitome
Thank you.
of just fabulousness, and you really are just such the happy heart. What a perfect name for a group.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
Again, I'm saying thank you to all those who continue every single day to vote for me, and we still can win. We still can win, guys. It's just keep voting, keep doing it every day, and let's just keep rocking and rolling. Well, all right, guys. Hey, don't leave. Bye, guys. Follow Kim. Let's do this.
Thank you.
Everybody have a fantastic freaking Wednesday. Oh, and join me and Siobhan tomorrow, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12:30 Pacific Standard Time for food therapy. We're going to be making my Irish bangers. She's going to make a
Ooh,
vegetarian style Irish banger. It's off the hook freaking delicious. And we're going to be talking about childhood trauma and how that creates mindsets that then permeate throughout, and the rest, our lives, until you stop allowing it to continue to dictate how you live your life. So super excited about that. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Later.